Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So the last time I made a video talking about what the government is doing or about regulations, it was some positive news for small businesses especially. This time around, I'm going to talk about something that will probably raise some eyebrows. Now today we're going to be touching upon the issue of immigration and the trucking industry and what the Department of Homeland Security just did. Ready? Let's go. So, when you talk about visas and the trucking industry, there are actually two of the most common visas that you hear about. Number one is the B1 visa, number two is the H2B visa. Now, the B1 visa allows drivers from bordering countries to haul loads into the US, but then they have to, by law, return to the bordering country for their next load. And we're talking about Canada and Mexico here. Now, the issue started happening when carriers figured out, oh, there is a way to skirt the law and save some money. So these B1 visa drivers, not only, and not all of them, but there is a percentage of them that not only haul into the US, they also start hauling within the US, effectively competing with drivers here, all while carriers save money on payroll. Then there is the second visa category, which is called the H2B visa. Now, the H2B visa is a program that US employers use to temporarily hire foreign workers, but temporarily is a pretty loose term. It can be a one-time occurrence, it can be a seasonal need, a peak load need, or an intermittent need. So one of the spokespeople that help carriers hire folks using the H2B program actually said that they rely on this H2B visa because, and I quote, there is a huge shortage of qualified CDL drivers across the nation, and turnover rates are through the roof. This is why trucking companies turn to us to help them supplement their recruitment efforts and hire international talent. Now, he said that there is a shortage of CDL holders in the US, which takes us directly into the topic of driver shortage. Is there actually a driver shortage in the US where there are not enough CDL holders to fulfill all the jobs in the trucking industry that are available? Well, there was a debate just recently, and the result of the debate was finally they admitted that there is no such thing as a driver shortage in the US. There is a problem, but that's a problem with driver turnover. Drivers do not stay with one carrier for a long period of time, forcing carriers to consistently try and find new talent. But the fact that there is no driver shortage and the fact that there are plenty of people here in the United States that are looking for jobs did not stop the Department of Homeland Security from doing something really baffling just a few days ago. So the Department of Homeland Security just doubled the amount of H-2B visas available, which will allow US-based trucking companies to continue hiring foreign truckers temporarily. How many additional visas did they make available? 67,716 from October 2024 until September 2025. And according to Landline, this is on top of the already 66,000 temporary worker visas that Congress mandates for each year. So the total visas available, 133,716. So here's how I look at it. Some carriers don't want to spend time and money trying to find drivers here in the United States because it is a hard process. I can tell you from my experience, it's pretty difficult to find a qualified driver that's going to meet the insurance company's requirements. And on top of it, I see it as carriers don't want to pay more to these drivers if they don't have to, let's say 70 cents per mile. So they go ahead and hire folks from other countries for, let's say, 40 cents per mile. Now, this ends up causing a chain reaction, especially if a lot of companies do this. A carrier who hires drivers for 40 cents per mile is going to have less expenses, which is also going to allow them to take cheaper rates and still turn a profit. And if this is occurring in high numbers, this ends up bringing the market down for everyone else. else. And the result is something similar to what we see today. If enough folks can earn a profit booking freight for $1.70 per mile, eventually what's going to happen is the market is going to be offering $1.70 per mile or less. And this will affect everyone, including those whose costs are higher. Now, am I saying that all of these extra visas are going to the trucking industry? Of course not. But what I'm saying is that increase in availability also increases the possibility that carriers are actually going to go that route. Now, while I was writing up this video, I did have a thought in the back of my mind. Isn't this just a free market? If you as a company cannot adapt, or if you don't have a competitive advantage, you're out. Now, I guess it depends on how you look at it, and I actually would like to open up the floor to you guys on this. Do you think this thing with H-2B visas is just part of this whole competition idea and giving carriers an ability to find a competitive advantage, or do you think it's something else? And another thought I had, and maybe you guys can explain this to me. If you hire someone from outside the US, even if they have prior experience in the trucking industry, for the most part, except for a handful of countries, their CDL is non-transferable in the US, which means that here they are considered new CDL holders. Considering the fact that as of late, insurance companies have made it pretty much impossible to hire anybody who has less than 2 years of experience with a clean CDL. I mean, the requirements are insane that insurance companies place on carriers. How does that work? Is it something that only big carriers are able to do because they are self-insured? Are local carriers finding it easier to actually hire new CDL holders? Are the insurance requirements a little bit more lax for local carriers? Because the last time I got a quote from insurance for trying to hire someone new, they gave me a quote of something along the lines of $50,000 a year, which was just unmanageable. Anyway, guys, I know it's a shorter video, but I wanted to share this with you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Wishing you all a fantastic rest of your week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.